All right, we're back. Part two. Onto the 10th list. And we look at Damo, who looks like he's playing a tree spirits list.
You
Can we
go,
agree?
Damien.
Damien is playing, he's got a Treeman Ancient, he's making it work. Um, a Branch Wraith, a Shadow Dancer, 19 Dryads, 2 units of Glade Riders, 9 Glade Guard, and then 6 Treekin, Paddy. 6.
The
Stop
best.
talking about like you're some 7 War Dancers, a Tree Man, and 2 Great Eagles. This is the list Paddy had. These are the balls that Damo has to play this in a competitive setting. Far out. Can the Arcane Journal can't come soon enough? But I just want to point something out. So if you can look down the list with me, in his Eternal Madness, is Damo not even playing standard bearers? He's playing musicians, champions. I don't think there's any standard.
Oh my gosh.
He's playing.
He's going for the kill.
Musician.
He's going for the kill, Damien.
doesn't care.
Savage.
He's like,
He's
I'll
savage.
pop the musician on the second breaker.
Yeah.
I'm not even going to bother.
He's lost his mind in the best possible way. I love it. I love it so much.
So he's deliberately putting musicians and champions, but no standards. This is hubris, Alex, as you like to say. He does not care.
He doesn't care. Maybe he's a great prophet and he's seen the Treekin army coming in the Arcane Journal, but he's, getting practice in now so he can say he was the OG.
He's definitely the OG. There's no question. I've never seen anyone run this.
I love to see it. I love to see it.
I think that's a slightly unfair sentiment because he's already the OG. We saw this at the last Oldhammer event that I believe he had to duck out of. He was taking a list very much like this.
Oh yes, you're right.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think this is an expansion of that. I say all power to Damien.
Absolutely.
I mean, he either didn't necessarily read the mission pack or he just doesn't give a fuck. And I love, excuse my language, but he just...
All right, it's not safe for children. We tick it on YouTube every time.
Okay, fabulous.
Okay. But Dryads, I love.
Just 20 Dryads. You can spread
so good,
in a line.
They're so good.
They're so good. I think I've said this. Like, my dream would be either the Minotaur Horde Arcane Journal or Treekin Wood Elf army. The only Wood Elf army I would ever play, because Wood Elf players have a certain sentiment.
Look, Alex, there's saying it and there's doing it. And we've been on this channel, we've listened to Paddy Rabbit on about this, and Damo just says, watch this, and just whips it out. I think, look, incredible. I wish they had Coolest Army, the painting. I think he'd be close. The Prince Apophis is up there for me too. But yeah, when I read this, I just couldn't believe it. 6 Treekin. I mean, how much space they even take up on the board? It must be enormous.
And Damien's a GW purist.
Yes.
So
GW
no 3D printing. Yeah.
So good.
We're going to your neighbor, Dave. Alex, anything different? I could only see a little bit different, but he's now a mainstay for Western Sydney Wargamers.
Yeah.
Orcs and Goblins.
He's going the Black Orcs. The choppiest chopper. He's always got some different weapon on his war boss. This time it's the AP3 big chopper on the Black Orc war boss. A BSB, notably everything's infantry based. So we're not seeing the Wyvern, we're not seeing any Black Orc chariots, we're not seeing anything like that. Again, coming back to this theme of infantry are not dead, it's back, right? Only somebody who was a meta gamer, win at all costs, would bring a dragon to this type of event. So we're absolutely in with the 25 orcs, the 21 Black Orcs with their motley crew to give them a variety of different weapons. He's got 5 Orc Ball Boys, which is his mainstay, and I have the worst luck against these. He's countercharged things and killed my units every time.
They're good. I think they're good.
Great.
I think I heard from Close Order think that they could be the best heavy cav in the game. It's like, it's a bit 100%. Much, but yeah, it's like, just countercharge what you get in terms of AP and strength. It's amazing.
And we've got Big Merv or Big Kev, the Giant, is making a return. So again, for those of you who haven't played Dave, This is a very themed army around the Australian army. So everything's got a little twist or modeling his wolf riders, which are there,
The
dingoes,
dingoes.
a
Yeah.
dingo riding. So Dave is the type of player that brings a list around a theme, but executes well. He's always won at least 1 to 2 games during the day. I think I'm the only one who's gone 0 to 3 at a 2+ event.
You drew one,
As a
Jamie.
history, I drew one, sorry, that's true. But Mangler Squigs are great, right? Again, random mover that they can get in. No stand and shoot. So Chaos Spawn arguably better, but Mangler Squig's always good. So this is infantry heavy. He's going to be going for the scoring. He's going to be rushing forward, and anyone who plays Dave is going to have a great game.
The only thing that stands out to me, and I say fair move to Dave, is that Night Goblin mob has no fanatic defense. So he's gone, he's gone mass poison shooting, but it has no way of defending itself if you manage to rush it and get to it other than a stand and shoot. So I wonder whether that's calculated on his part, because of course one of the most obnoxious things we've seen with orc lists has been that massive poison blob just full of fanatics. So the moment you go anywhere near it, you are just taking so much damage, and then you take a follow-up shoot from them, right? So I think it's hard but clean, I suppose, as we spoke about a little bit before. The Night Goblins on their own are rubbish, but when they're empowered with the poison attacks at range and the ability to shuffle around with the level 4's help, it'll be interesting. The only thing, oh no, he has War Magic there. Never mind.
Yeah, he does. And the War banner on the Black Orcs is a little sneaky mini Swift Stride.
I like that.
D3, not D6. I think we've seen Black Orcs before with Frenzy, which shocked me to see the small units of Black Orcs with Frenzy. But I think if you're going to go a bigger unit, you want to protect the points investment. So War Banner's definitely better, because you want the Choppers rule to go off, right? You don't want stuff charging you.
No, that's right. I think it's good. I like that banner. Paddy is up for it with his new Orc and Goblin list. Oh, Dave Spears, The Grudge. Who tried to get in later? Jeff and Adam?
Yeah, Jeff called out a grudge, and he was shut down for trying to
game the system.
bully people.
So Dave and I got it in. We are interested in Yamcha, everybody. So it sounds like it's going to be quick and dirty, whichever way this goes. It's certainly not something I'm underestimating as much as Dave says that it's going to be easy for me. And I won pretty well on the weekend. He made an adjustment, which is interesting. He's telling me about it. Wait for it. So he's got this illusion. He has this Duke. The Duke on the smashed a bunch of my stuff on the weekend, but didn't get in against the Dragon. I think I'm okay there. I've done some of the numbers on this, but the level 4 illusion mage with Headsman's Axe. So yeah, no Dragon Slaying Sword. Not going to be as good against me. I've got the Dispel Scroll. Hopefully I can get rid of it, because the 360 is still a pain in the ass. Miasmic Mirage is a big pain. But I was really impressed with this playing against him, Elise Duchard, and in a unit of Grail Knights. So he gets his Falcon Horn into the Grail Knights, gets Leadership 9. And then all the Grail, with that regen spell and with her magic resistance too, it's pretty tough. Luckily I have sisters, which are pretty much the antidote to Grail Knights. But otherwise, yeah, I think they're really good. And she was particularly good, especially in this format where you can't take more than one level 4. And so I think he's snuck that in as the level 3 with it. So yeah, really impressed with that. Obviously pegs, but he doesn't have an egregious amount of them. They suck at any amount, but thankfully not 7 of them. And then otherwise, yep, it's a standard core, which interestingly he chose not to kneel with, but on the weekend, and I thought that was blasphemy. But when I look back at the list. I mean, if he's already getting the Duke and the Ground Knights, is that they're that much of an edge for a 6 against me? It's just a 6+ ward. So yeah, interesting list. One or the other though. If you want in on Yamcha, which apparently Blacktown RSL is really good with, we need to take orders because it's not that much time at lunch, and you got to get in for spring rolls and pork tendon as quickly as possible.
I was literally sitting at lunch, the last one, and saw Dave running for the Yamcha. So
Was he running from?
It must be good. No,
I don't want
to it.
Yeah,
To it.
good. Got 2 more rounds,
Yeah,
Dave. I don't want to get the runs. I'm just
Now,
going to enjoy myself.
I always find Bretonians interesting, right? Because they have that illusion and elementalism choice. So with the ruling that earthen ramparts will stop stomps
Yeah.
at Oldhammer events, you're pretty safe with illusion or elementalism against the big bads in this case. So going illusion, I guess he's going for the crystal column to try and stop you.
I imagine he'll have that Mirage,
Yeah.
Doppelganger, and Glittering Robe. They're the good ones.
Yeah,
like everything else is too situational.
The only thing we need to bear in mind with elementalism, and it applies, I mean, it applies only really to those units that have countercharge. Michael and John have already preempted the question by saying you cannot countercharge as a charge reaction while you have earthen ramparts up. So that's an important distinction.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Looking forward to it, Dave. Thanks for accepting the grudge. I think it's good value. I'm glad we're doing it. Dylan Martin is Alex. Alex, you're up. Dwarves, you've picked them all, but this one looks like Royal Clan.
We're all Royal Clan. In this case, and Royal Clans, Royal Clans
a little bit different. This one.
It is great because you get the magic item. You get plus 25 points for your characters on magic items and extra points on banners as well. Notably, though, you also get +1 strength when you charge or follow up, right? So Royal Clans is always great. So Longbeards, or in this case, Royal Clan Warriors, we'll see them. You know, they get a lot of strength once they win on combat resolution. Along that way. So, okay, again, we got the Standard King, right? You're going to see it on repeat. The difference here, the Anvil of Doom with the Master Rune of Balance, the Master Rune of Balance is effectively like the Wood Elf Oaken Stave, but a 1 use per turn. So it's you roll 3d6 when you dispel at your choice and drop the lowest dice. So I actually think that I was looking at this as well because it's probably you get 24-inch range with the anvil, but you're either going that or toughness 10, one of the two. But again, you see here the Runesmith BSB with the runes of spell breaking, and this has become repeatable. The Master Rune of Grugni, fantastic. The 5+ ward save to the unit, and then the 6+ ward save outwards. It's like the reverse of the Salamasu's bit. Yeah. Keep coming down. The difference here is that he's running Royal Clan Warriors, which is the signature unit for the Army of Infamy itself with their Gromwell Great Axes. So think of them as, great weapons with more AP. So, they're not the traditional choice with maxing out Longbeards that Charbel and I have gone for, but it's the damage choice. So if you can take the charge, you can drill out to have a lot of high strength AP -3 attacks. And that's why he's put, and sorry if I'm speaking for him or maybe giving something away, the hesitation rune is on that unit exactly for that, right? Because he wants you to hit and then so he can use his great axes. He's only got 5+ save. He doesn't want you using lances so that he can win the combat and then follow up and do a lot more damage onto that. So it's interesting. Keep coming down. There's a couple of different twists here. Double Grudge Thrower, which you can see here. One with a forging and one with reloading. Forging is the one to reroll one misfire. Reloading is just so you can just keep shooting, irrelevant of the misfire that he rolls. 3 units to Iron Drakes. So he's going for the triple Trollhammer Torpedo build. Yep. Versus the massive block that Charbel and I have gone for. So this is definitely a different flavor on it as well, with the core themes that are proving dwarves to be good. So I think you said this, Alice. People always say, "Why don't you bring cannons?" You can't
Yeah.
in Royal Clans. It's grudge throwers or bolt throwers only. Although I will say, maybe this is blasphemy as a new dwarf player. A bolt thrower with rune of skewering. I don't know. Maybe triple bolt thrower with rune of skewering.
They're cheap, but
They're
I
cheap.
mean, other
They
stuff,
just don't hit
yeah. I'm not
anything.
as huge a fan of the grudge thrower, but the Iron Drakes and Longbeards and the King and the Anvil, I don't think you can go past them. And that
Yeah.
Battle Standard
And
Master Rune either. We're getting to that point with the metagame where just aspects of armies are straight. At this points count, you're getting just more of the good stuff, really.
It's
yeah,
it's I suppose the only thing that sits in my mind is just seeing how homogenous things can become. And I suppose the dwarves in this example is they are just, the ones who have the misfortune of all taking extraordinarily similar lists based on, really solid tenets and principles
yeah.
that have been proven to be successful. But I wonder whether we will start to see, or have started to see, and I'm not sure if we have outside of Bretonians, that same sort of homogeneity start to creep in. Because I wonder what it says about what we'll see at a very competitive level if all the lists start looking really very much the same. But that said,
Yeah.
I can't fault anyone for having taken stuff that they know is good and stuff that they experience is great. And I love 3 Hammer torpedoes rather than one big unit of Iron Drakes, because a dragon taking 3d6 to wound hits at range is so much more exciting than having to charge in and lose on combat res. So
You can't go wrong with it. And talking about the metagame, Alex, the metagame of points protection, as much as, oh my gosh, I need to go and protect this unit, so I'm just gonna run it away and hide behind a building, away from your Drake guns. The grudge thrower is there to indirect fire. So there's theoretically nowhere. You still need a bit of luck, of course,
Yeah, I
right?
guess so. It does. You're right that like you can't just that when it was in the initial list, it seemed like it stood out like a sore thumb. But then meta games where people look at the thing and say, right, I'm just going to play for a 10-10. We'll probably have more to say on that in other videos as well. I think it sucks. But we'll worry about that later. The 10-10 mindset. I've
What
been
dwarves
there.
are going to be 12-8s or 8-12s the
Yeah,
whole
no,
tournament.
I think it's about the incentives in the game, but that's up to tournament organizers. And like, can't complain with Oldhammer. They've tried their best. It's certainly streamlined or straightjacketed what I wanted to do, and I think it's better for it. Ewan is Empire Alasdair. You guys switched, so we could talk about this. What do you think of this list, Grandmaster General?
Yeah, I think Ewan deserves a bit of credit because he's gone sort of slightly non-conventional with some interesting elements from the Arcane Journal sort of rolled in. It's very infantry based, as we've seen sort of time and again. The captain is on foot with the BSB and -2 magic resist. The Lector of Sigmar is on foot to give those spells to the veteran state troops, and the twice blessed armor, which is the Hammerhand full plate, which is fabulous. But that Grand Master is a Grand Master of more, so he causes fear and gets a 6+ ward save against non-magical attacks. He's only got the Ogre Blade, so leaning heavily on that 6+ ward and maybe picking his battles with that. But that Grand Master is going to be rolling around with the Inner Circle Knights, which is fabulous to see. So well done, Ewan, for including them in Grand Army. You got 5 Inner Circle Knights of more with the icon of more, so they are fear causing. They are terror causing because they are Knights of more, so they have fear built in as being Inner Circle, and so they will be terror causing. So you'll have a unit of 6 terror causing Inner Circle Knights rolling around. He's got a variety of artillery to back himself up, a great cannon, a Hellblaster, and a steam tank. I'm only just surprised that he didn't put Vanguard on the Hellblaster, to be perfectly honest, because that is always an in-the-pocket, super fun thing to drop on someone. But 20 free company militia, I can't say I've ever seen the appeal, but bringing them for bodies and for like, they can't even take a standard, so they're not necessarily scoring. But the core here is, of course, the veteran state troops with the war banner. I'm a little bit surprised he didn't take the Griffin banner, but maybe he was a bit squeezed for points. And that's got a detachment of handgunners sort of ready to be able to do standard shoots off the side to maybe add a little bit of combat res when that thing gets into combat. But this feels a little bit more out of the book Empire than a lot of stuff that we've seen. It's funny that Empire seems to be, when we did the last list review, there were lots of Empire lists that were very archetypal. Wow, this is old Warhammer style lists. This is a little bit like that. I feel like there's a lot of flavor and nods to the state of competitive play. You know, the Wizard Lord running Demonology, for example.
It must be for Steed of Shadows in the veteran state troops. Lore familiar, like took it, so maybe it's that.
I think so. And there's a deliberate choice here. He's not taken the Book of Midnight or the Tome of something or other, which gives you a +1 to cast and an extra spell, but gives you Loner, so you can't be around. So that's the offensive magic missile version. This is very much that unit's going to get strength, that unit's going to get toughness, that unit's going to be unexpectedly strong and powerful, which is a lesson that we've learned from our good friends, the Chaos Dwarves. And add to that, it's going to have all the benefits of the Prez of Sigma on top of that. So, additional combat benefits that, you're just going to see, as well as a potential ward save in the shooting phase. So, it's going to be really interesting to see. It's a variation on a theme for Empire that I've not seen before, but one that's utilizing, as I said, a few things out of the Arcane Journal in a really interesting way.
I think you drew Ezekiel as well. So Ezekiel's running Skaven again.
He's back.
He's back. Looks like
He's
a
back.
Similar list than to last time.
I think he won 2 games last time, didn't he? Did he go 2-1?
I have no idea, but he took my advice and he brought more rats, and that's what makes me excited. He's back, baby. He's got all the trimmings. He's got a Swift Stride Storm Vermin block with D3 plus combat res. He's got a Master Assassin hiding in there with a D3 wounds Weeping Blade that's going to jump out at some point. He's got the shields on the champion, the Cautious Shield, which gives +3 to his armor save. So it's a 2+ armor save. Storm Vermin champion that sits there and takes challenges. God, it's fun. It's so fun. And then he's got a Warlock Engineer with Warpstone tokens to boost his casting. He's got a level 4 as well, which is amazing to see, and taking advantage of all those special Skaven rules to keep him out of combat. Elementalism focus here again, lots of TMP, lots of Earthen Ramparts. I think he's learned a really valuable lesson about how to use that in this particular environment, and you're going to see that on the Storm Vermin, guarantee it. Gutter runners to top it off, ambushing in. They can ambush within a certain distance of the Master Assassin when he's revealed, which is really, really important to note. So when he pulls that Master Assassin out of the pocket and then ambushes into units of gutter runners behind your lines, I mean, you've got no one else to blame but yourself for leaving a big hole there. And then Jezzail's to give plenty of ranged firepower with their strength 6 long-range sniper weapons, and the Poison Wing Globadiers, which are a giggle for 100 points. They are marching, they are shooting after they're marching. It's only 9 inches, but it doesn't matter because it's D3 hits every time they smack you with a Poison Wind Globe, and then it's strength 2 with effectively a poison effect and a total ignorance of armor. So this is just fun. I love seeing Skaven, and I love seeing what Zeke's done with this. I think he's just added, and I forgot the 40 clan rats, because they're kind of the oh yeah, and I brought 40 clan rats. There's so many bodies. And
I guess the Skaven Chieftain for 51 points. It's just throwing. It's just so many points left over.
Has he got Rallying Cry?
It's extra combat. I also feel like it's a backup challenge soak as well. That's Skaven. So if the unit champ goes down and he's still, he's wanting to take on that Bretonian champion that's churning through his units, he can just hand him the chieftain rather than handing him something, more valuable from amongst the other panoply of characters that he's got to have in that unit. But oh God, I'm so looking forward to seeing him put out. I mean, it's more than 100 models, I'm pretty sure.
Yep.
Yeah,
I'm going to say this every time. It's a travesty that a Plague Monk doesn't buff Wind Globadiers.
It is, but they're a legacy army, Alex.
I know.
So,
I know.
Too late.
Yeah.
Too late. By the way, gonna say this every time as well. Warpstone tokens, never underestimate them.
Oh no,
Can turn
it's
you
so
into a
good.
level seven wizard.
I think Gracie's are legitimately good, aren't they? Like it's just a few holes in core and the light legacy, just the sheer callousness in which they wrote the PDFs. There's just holes in a lot of them.
Yeah.
Jeff's here though with something new. Played him with his 2 Iron Demons on the weekend. I thought that's be the way it would go. And I think he regretted not taking this list. So he's got a Sorcerer Prophet, which is very tough to kill. I mean, I guess it depends what you've got. It doesn't do a lot of damage, but it's nearly impossible to kill. So it's there with Storm of Ash, and Elementalism in generally is a pretty solid lore, I suppose. I guess his Sorcerer Prophet, level 3 lore familiar. In the past, I played him at both 2+ events, and he had the Demonology one, he crushed me. That one. And then his Seneschal doesn't have Lamasu's beard because he's got Infernal Ironsworn. So he's got the Infernal Guard with blunderbusses and Razor Standard, and now he's got Ironsworn, which I don't even know what makes them better, but these are two huge, very tough units that are very slow. So it'll be interesting to see how this goes because I think he was, as I was saying, he was confident to rather be playing this than the 2 Iron Demons. No Iron Demon at all, just the Dreadcrank Mortar, which is a lot of fun because of the removing Swift Stride and movement, which is very annoying when you have an army that sort of not just relies on Swift Stride, but you've sort of worked out your movement and you don't want to have to give up anything to get across the board. But yeah, he keeps changing around this Chaos Dwarf list and getting these models out. 585 points. Infernal Ironsworn. They've got to be good.
God,
Any ideas?
We
What do
hope.
they do? What do they do? They
We
spend.
pray. We're praying. And they're tougher, right? They're at least got the full plate armor
Yeah.
on
So 3+
there. So
save, +2 strength. Lamus' beat is bonkers. Like the ward set,
yeah.
5+ ward, magic resistance. I think Paddy Gallagher thinks it's the best banner in the game, and I'm probably starting to believe it. I think it's nuts. But yeah, I don't know. You guys played, how much you've played, Jeff, Alex,
Yeah.
but Alasdair, have you played Chaos Dwarves? It's a unique experience.
Yeah, no, I have. It's that arm wrestle over magical control, and a lot of it does rely on the ability for you to be able to pull off the magical enhancements when you really need them. I feel like there's ways of getting through this that will rely on those auto dispels. So high elves, for example, or dwarves, as both of you have pointed out, with the auto dispel includes, it might end up being something that you see a lot more commonly in having to deal with lists like this. I mean, I know Chaos Dwarves, again, Legacy, aren't necessarily something that we're going to see in mainstream tournaments, but we'll still see them here. But if the focus is a lot of the time is going to be on what that demonology caster and what the elementalism caster are capable of doing to enhance those units, they're strong, but without an extra point of toughness, without the extra point of strength in attacks when you're in combat with them, it's a lot more straightforward to get through them than it sort of first appears. That said, having no Iron Demons, I fear for Jeff.
Yeah, Iron Demons so good, Jeff. I wonder how it'll go. So good, such a pain. Even when you can beat it, you have to invest in beating it, and when you can't beat it, it is so bad.
No, but they're the biggest deterrent for you going in on either of those units on the hope that you can smack down the magic, because if you fail and you get caught in combat, that thing comes in your side and you die.
Oh,
and that's it.
Yeah, if it gets in, it's crazy. Oh. We might be able to get a few more. If you can, we'll do 2 more. If you can give us a rundown of this Ogre Kingdoms list. Still haven't played Ogre Kingdoms. I saw Tom on the weekend win his first round, but then lose the next 2. So I know a little bit now. Looks like a lot of fun. He's got the Tenderizer, which is crazy, but it's on foot, the Tyrant. And the Slaughtermaster has the Halfling Cookbook. which just must
Yep.
be a meme of some.
That's just no. It's extra dispel range. It's extra
Oh
3
my
inch
god, so
dispel range.
good. So that's good.
Yeah.
And then Talisman, the Stonehorn's good with the ward save. It's not obviously flying, but it's got a lot of the attributes of big behemoths. 8 Iron Guts, 3 Ogre Bulls, 2 Sabertooths, 4 Mournfangs, and none of the cannons, but the Thunder Tusk Riders.
Tusk.
So what do you think about these decisions?
It's fitting an archetype that we're seeing a lot with ogres, and certainly that's sort of being popularized in the same way as the dwarf lists, as the way that you play ogres now, where you're dedicating a lot of the frontage of the Iron Guts units to your character choices. So you're running them 4 across. You're getting rank bonuses from them, and the Iron Guts are behaving like additional wounds for the characters, who then are able to do a whole lot of wound churning on their own. That Tyrant is truly terrifying with the Tenderizer. You don't realize that until you're actually in combat with a Tyrant, just how much damage it can do. The thing that I really like about this is the sort of multiple hammers that he's got. So he's got the Iron Guts, which isn't totally dedicated over to characters being the front. There's still going to be some in there, but he's going to get a lot of attacks. But then he's got the Mournfangs, which are amazing. The only thing that's missing off then really is the bull
standard.
Yeah, which is the bull standard, which is the reroll of wounds on impact hits. But a Thunder Tusk in addition to a Stonehorn, that is 2 massive behemoths with huge bases that take up a lot of room on the flanks of that Iron Guts unit and force you into engagements that you don't want to be in. So it's going to be interesting to see what it can do in this sort of flying behemoth meta without the cannons of the Sky Titans. So, there's not that range presence there. But that said, if there's an argument to be made about how an army can move in one solid line across the board and be a massive threat and force you to either run away, get out of the way, or die, it's this.
Yeah, and you want the BSB 18-inch reroll, because a Stonehorn, people forget about the impact hits coming at them all the time, and that's where it generates combat resolution. It effectively it front loads its high strength AP2 impact hits into you with Swift Stride. I think it's move 8 base, move 7 base. So it's not quite a dragon as fast as one, but if you underestimate it, it's going to hit you. And with the Bruiser on top, the Bruiser does the other half of the damage on there. The only thing I'd note here is there's no lore familiar on the Slaughtermaster with the cookbook, so he's going for the defensive magic, but it does mean he loses the guaranteed Oaken shield from battle magic, because if we just go down to the Iron Guts have the regen banner.
Yeah,
they do, yeah. So the ogre archetype really is to create the Iron Gut Death Star with the armor saves, the ward saves, and the regen saves, all as one on toughness 4 multi-wound models, that if you don't do enough to them, then just hit you back with a Tyrant, a Slaughtermaster, etc. So you can imagine a Slaughtermaster doing all of his attacks. People forget about this. Hammerhand from the signature spell as well. And by the way, if for some reason they get the charge off, they also get impact hits as a unit. So and with those additional ranks, they become AP2 impact hits for every rank they get AP. So
I also think that the thing that we can't forget here is, without lore familiar, he does have access to the signatures from the lore more. So you'll see Toothcracker, for example, for the extra toughness on that bob. I think that's more likely than seeing Hammerhand. But it's really strong, based around that big Iron Guts unit, and then with just so many different threats for you to deal with, rather than relying on the cannons to give them the range presence.
That was the main. Oh, Josh is back. Sorry to move on. We've got time for one more. Josh was playing Empire last time, so he's still got the general on the Warhouse horse. 10 out of 10 Warhammer. Ulrich Priest, Razor Standard, a captain, a level. Is Master Mage level 2? Yep.
No,
5 Knights Panther. 25 state troops, 10 archers, 20 veteran state troops, 10 missile troops, 5 outriders, a mortar, a steam tank, hellblaster, volley gun. It's great. He's picked it up, and he's got to play him, and I felt bad, Josh. He came with a very fair army, and I had things like a warp fire dragon, and it was a mincing. But in this case, he's got a lot of flavor. What's the Ring of Tal do?
It's Oaken Shield. Once per game, power level 3. You can cast on your unit. So I imagine it's intended for that turn before the turn. You're going to be charged on that particular unit. This is an Empire army, and it's
good times. Dragon slaying sword.
Yeah, I mean, look,
the general on a horse,
massively optimistic on a general of an Empire, but I love the total commitment to what would an Empire army look like on the field. This
Absolutely.
is an Empire, and I can't wait to see it actually set out on the board, because it's just going to be so cool.
I thought it was well painted as well. I had a bit of weight at that, being part of the judging group, and I thought his was one of the best, Josh. So I haven't seen all these pieces, but it looked really good as well.
Yeah, I mean, I fear for him, but I love it.
He took 2 wounds off my dragon on the charge, just sending in the general on the horse. So maybe this, if it had been off my dragon, would have been the greatest moment in Oldhammer history.
Maybe retribution is coming, Alex.
Maybe.
He's put the dragon sword on there so that next time he'll kill that dragon.
You'll roll 3 6s to wound. You're dead.
Get through my opal amulets.
Opal 1, you roll a 1. That's the prophecy.
Be good times. Hopefully that happens. But otherwise, he stepped it up, which is good. It's got better artillery. Outriders are great. So
mortar.
I think it'd be good. Yeah, mortar, which we hear from Godfather of the pod, Mike, believes that they are good. There's something about them that makes them good. I sort of wasn't listening. He said they were good.
Neo, his nickname is now Neo.
Yeah.
Michael in the Matrix.
That's it for now. We're going to come back with Keith. Alasdair intimated early on that Keith may have more behemoths than he can fit in a handbag in this next list. So we'll see you in the next episode, but far out, he has gone all out. I don't know how he's going to fit it all on the board, how he's even going to carry it to the event. It's going to weigh a ton, but we'll see his event next. Thank you again, guys.
Cheers.